All right. So, hello, viewers. Welcome you all to another spiritual talk. So, today I have a very special guest with me, Sadhvi Bhagwati Saraswati ji. She is renowned spiritual leader and motivational speaker based in Rishikesh, associated with Parmarth Niketan, India, well known Chidanand Saraswati ji ashram, and they are doing lot of great activities there. Everybody know about it. She is the author of newly released best-selling memoir, which is Hollywood to Himalaya. It talks about journey of healing and transformation, originally from Los Angeles, a graduate of Stanford University and PhD in psychology. Sadhvi ji has lived on the bank of Ganga River in the lap of Himalayas for more than now, I believe, 25 years, engaged in lot of spiritual services, wisdom teaching, and deep spiritual practices. So, viewer, this is the short info. साध्वी जी मैं थोड़ा हिंदी में भी बात करना चाहूंगा साथ साथ में, क्योंकि
बहुत
मेरी
अच्छा,
मेरी जो
बहुत बढ़िया।
मेरी जो व्यूअरशिप है इंडिया में, वो हिंदी के वीडियो पसंद करते हैं। तो आप लाखों लोगों के प्रेरणा स्रोत हैं। आप केवल स्पिरिचुअलिटी के लिए नहीं, अपितु परमार्थ निकेतन के माध्यम से और स्वामी चिदानंद सरस्वती जी के साधिन्य में पर्यावरण को सुधारने के क्षेत्र में भी अभूतपूर्व कार्य कर रही हैं। मैंने बहुत आपके वीडियोस देखे हैं, लेख देखे हैं और कई सेमिनार्स देखी हैं जहां पर आप बोलते हैं। तो मुझे इससे बड़ा मतलब मोटिवेशन मिलता है कि आप लोग इतना कर रहे हैं। हम एक छोटा सा काम, मेरी एक कोशिश थी कि मैं आपको अपने फोरम पर लेकर आऊं और व्यूअर्स को एटलीस्ट थोड़ा सा मोटिवेट कर सकूं, ये मेरा एक रीजन था। तो साध्वी जी, आई वुड लाइक टू वेलकम यू इन माय स्पिरिचुअल टॉक शो।
It's wonderful to be with you. Really wonderful to be with you.
Thank you. Thank you. And before I start the questioning session with you, I would like to mention the purpose of starting this channel, Sadhvi ji. My aim is to simplify the spirituality for a common man. That is the whole aim. As we know that we all have the lots of complexities in our day-to-day life, right? I firmly believe we can overcome these problems, or at least we can reduce the impact on us if we follow the spiritual guidance, and your spiritual journey experience would really contribute to this cause. So straight away I am going to my first question, Sadhvi ji. You were born in US, grew up around Hollywood, and lived a privileged life in California. You left that privileged life to California and start your spiritual journey from bank of Ganga, Rishikesh, Uttarakhand. How do you define your journey from Hollywood to Hollywood? This is
So,
yeah.
yes, it's that sacred and beautiful journey from Hollywood to the Himalayas, from Hollywood to, as Puja Swamiji says, the holy woods of the Himalayas. And for me, it's been really an extraordinary blessing. There's two different arcs of the journey, you could say. One is the physical journey, the journey of literally being in Hollywood, in Los Angeles, in that world of privilege and opportunity and everything that world includes.
Yeah.
And then moving from there to Palo Alto, to be at Stanford, to do studies, and then ultimately shifting from there to the Himalayas, to Rishikesh. I came first to India at the age of 25. Next week, it will be 26 years.
Oh.
Actually, मुझे मैं ये हिंदी में भी बोलूंगी कि मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता, क्योंकि अब मैं कह सकती हूँ कि मैंने मेरा लाइफ का मेजॉरिटी समय भारत में रहा। मैं वेट कर रही थी कि जब मेरी 51 हो जाएंगे, then I can say कि क्योंकि पहले तो मैं 25 साल की थी जब मैं आई, तो जब तक 51 years of age नहीं हुआ, so then it was always more time I had been in America. Then जब मैं 50 हो गया, तो फिर it was बराबर. But then when I became 51, now it's कि अमेरिका में 25 साल रही और भारत में 26 साल रही. तो now मैं गौरव से कह सकती हूँ कि मैंने अपनी लाइफ का majority समय भारत में रही. और so I came to India 26 years ago with a backpack. I was in the middle of my PhD program. I was an avid traveler, loved to travel. I didn't know anything about India though. And it was 1996, so there was no Google to ask. We had a 500-page Lonely Planet guidebook. And the only reason that I had even agreed to come to India was I was a very strict vegetarian. And I had traveled a lot in Europe, in England, across America, in South America. And in all of these places, being a very strict, very pakka vegetarian is very difficult because even something as simple as vegetable soup, you can say.
Absolutely.
Though the stock of the vegetable soup, inevitably they're making with like chicken seasoning or whatnot. So I was this very pakka vegetarian. And when the idea of India was suggested, so I knew that at least in India, मैं आराम से खा पाऊंगी. मुझे मालूम था कि बढ़िया से खा पाऊंगी. चाहे भाषा आते हैं, चाहे नहीं आते हैं, मुझे 2 बार पूछना नहीं पड़ेगा. I knew that I could get wonderful vegetarian food. And so I agreed to come. And Rishikesh was the very first place. And here on the banks of Ganga, I didn't even know that Ganga was sacred. I didn't know the Himalayas were sacred. I just knew beautiful river, beautiful mountains. And as I stood on the banks of Ganga, I had this incredibly powerful spiritual experience of awakening, of oneness with the divine. I just, in that moment, I knew that I wasn't separate from the divine. I knew that I was one with the divine and that the divine was everywhere, everywhere outside, everywhere inside, and that I am not separate. And it was the most extraordinary experience of transformation. My eyes were really opened and my heart was opened and I burst into tears and I suddenly was just sobbing these tears of having come home. It was not tears of sadness or even tears of happiness, you could say. It was tears of actually coming home. And in that moment, I knew I am meant to live here. This is where I am meant to be. And I didn't know how or where or doing what or in what capacity. I just knew this is my home. कि यही मेरा घर है. And then about maybe several days later, almost a week later, I finally met Puja Swamiji. I finally had his darshan. I had been walking through Parmarth Niketan and I heard a voice. And the voice said, "You must stay here." Now, I knew the ashram was beautiful. I knew that it was huge and exquisite and the gardens. And I mean, I knew it was beautiful. But I didn't know I'm supposed to stay here. And then suddenly I hear this voice as I'm walking through the ashram. And the voice says, "You must stay here." And so there's a lot more to the story, but just quickly, quickly going through the main parts of it, I heard this voice. I realized I was meant to stay. And finally, I had Puja Swamiji's darshan. He was actually out of the country at the time, but he came back. He came back a few days later. And when I finally had his darshan, then I understood, oh, it's here. It's in this place. It's with this spiritual master I am meant to live. And I started hearing from Puja Swamiji about all of the incredible seva that was happening, the seva for children, the seva for sick people, the seva for the environment, the seva for women. And I realized, instead of being just another random person with a degree and a piece of paper and a frame on the wall, that I was actually being given this opportunity of being part of something that really made a difference, that actually was deeply helping others. And at the same time, of course, it was the place where I was having every minute just this incredible spiritually expansive experience. I mean, the tears just kept pouring down my eyes, and all I could say all the time was, oh my God, it's so beautiful. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. So that was the beginning. And as you mentioned, of course, my memoir, Hollywood to the Himalayas, a journey of healing and transformation. So all of the details of the journey when I got here, but also the struggles that I had in the first 25 years of my life that had led me to feel like I was separate from God, that had led me to feel like I was somehow not good enough, not worthy enough, not deserving, that I wasn't enough on some very deep level. The challenges and the even trauma that I had been through. And it shares all of that. And then it walks you through how I was given these incredible lessons of letting go, lessons of deep healing. And this, I began by saying there's two arcs. So one was the physical arc. I literally came physically from Hollywood to the Himalayas. But the other arc is the arc of our mindset. And that's an arc that is available for everyone. And that's actually really why I wrote the book. It wasn't just about, oh, listen to my incredibly powerful and fascinating journey and experience, but it's, how can you, wherever you are in the world, whatever your dharma may be, my dharma was this shift from Hollywood to the Himalayas, but whatever your dharma may be, you can have that mindset shift from what I call the Hollywood way of thinking. The Hollywood way of thinking says you are your body. You are its size, its shape, its color, its race, its religion, its bank account, its job, its relationships, its social status. You are all of those things, which means, of course, that you'll never be satisfied. It means you will always suffer because you will always feel like you don't have enough. You're not enough. You'll live in jealousy and competition, in misery and suffering, in grudges and all of that. Or we have the Himalayan way of thinking, which says you have a body, but you're not the body. You have a body, but you're not the body. You are the soul. You are the spirit. You are consciousness. You are love. And that shift of mindset from the Hollywood way of thinking to the Himalayan way of thinking is something that is possible and available for everyone. And that's what I share in the book, along with my personal journey of the expansion and the ecstasy and the lessons that I learned here and what it's like to live in spiritual India in an ashram, what it's like to be celibate, to take vows of renunciation. Along with that, the real core message is, how can all of the readers themselves, regardless of where they are, make that mindset shift from Hollywood to the Himalayas, that Hollywood way of thinking to Himalayan way of thinking, so that everyone can stop suffering, find that peace, find that healing, find that transformation, find that awakening that I was so blessed to find.
Absolutely. So मैं अपने व्यूअर्स को थोड़ा सा इस किताब के बारे में बता दूं। जब मैंने ये किताब पढ़ी थी व्यूअर्स, मैं जब मैंने 2 या 3 चैप्टर शुरू के साध्वी जी उस किताब के पढ़े, तो मेरा पहला दिमाग में, तब तक मैंने ये मीटिंग का और आपसे इंटरेक्शन का कोई प्लान नहीं था। हालांकि मैं आपके वीडियो फॉलो करता था, आपके कई सेशन में फॉलो करता था। मेरी वाइफ भी जो है बहुत सारे आपके सेशन फॉलो करती है। तो मैं जो है ये सोच के जब मैंने ये किताब पढ़ा, तो फिर मुझे ये लगा कि मुझे एक बार आपको 100% इंटरेक्शन करनी है, चाहे वो मैं पर्सनल लेवल पे करूं, और अगर मैं अपने आपको चैनल पे ला सकूं तो इससे बढ़िया कोई बात नहीं हो सकती है। तो मैं अपने व्यूअर्स को बताना चाहता हूं कि हॉलीवुड टू हिमालय जो ये किताब है, ये साध्वी जी की एक्सपीरियंस, जो उनके लाइफ के जो स्ट्रगल है, एक्सपीरियंस है, और कैसे उन्होंने अपने लाइफ को ट्रांसफॉर्म किया, एक मटेरियल लाइफ से वो स्पिरिचुअल जर्नी पर गई और कैसे गई, इससे बेहतरीन बुक मैंने बहुत सारी किताबें पढ़ता हूं, तो मुझे ये बुक उसमें से एक लगी जो प्रैक्टिकल है। और वाकई में जो आपने उसमें जिस तरीके से एक्सप्लेन करा है, आपने मेरा सेकंड क्वेश्चन का आंसर दे चुके हैं आप, वैसे मैं उस पर अब जाऊंगा नहीं, कि आपने जो इनिशियल लाइफ में जो चैलेंजेस आपको आए, you have faced molestations, you have faced disease, food order disease, bulimia, and those you faced lot of challenges in initial stage, and then finally वो सारे प्रॉब्लम को आपने किनारे करते हुए आपने ये जर्नी, और आज हम आपको एक ग्लोबल स्पिरिचुअल लीडर के तौर पे देखते हैं, और आप जो काम कर रहे हैं इकोसिस्टम को मेंटेन करने के लिए, स्पिरिचुअलिटी के लिए, वो फिनोमिनल है। So that is the what message I want to give. You have answered my question, Sadhviji. Second question, I will not ask that again. And you have very detailed explanations and given, and I will recommend my viewers 100% read that book, and it will give that strength and power, because problem will come everybody's life, but how to come out of that, you need to motivate yourself, so that we will learn from that book. तो मैं अगला क्वेश्चन की तरफ बढ़ता हूं साध्वी जी। जो मेरा फेवरेट टॉपिक जो इस चैनल पर होता है वो है मेरा, दैट इज रिलेटेड टू स्पिरिचुअलिटी, एंड कैन यू एक्सप्लेन, हाउ डू यू एक्सप्लेन स्पिरिचुअलिटी फॉर ए कॉमन मैन, व्हेन आई एम सेइंग हाउ द स्पिरिचुअल गाइडेंस कैन इंप्रूव एनीवन्स हेल्थ, वेल बीइंग, बिकॉज किताबों में जो हम पढ़ते हैं वो हमें बहुत हाई लेवल की चीजें मिलती हैं, लेकिन स्पिरिचुअलिटी की जो डे टू डे लाइफ में जो यूज है, और डे टू डे लाइफ में कैसे वो कॉम्प्लीमेंट करता है, थोड़ा सा अगर आप उस पर लाइट डालें तो इट विल बी ग्रेट हेल्प टू माय व्यूअर्स।
Of course. देखिए, spirituality is not something that is deeply complex. Spirituality, literally, if you look it up in the dictionary, spirituality means simply of spirit, that which is focused on spirit, pertaining to spirit. Now, there's two ways of looking at the world. One way is the material way. In the materialistic way, we say, I am this physical body.
Yeah.
I am the height, the weight, all of this. This is me. And then there's this empty space over here. And then there's the person in front of me, and that person is also a material object. And then there's space, and then there's another person, and then there's space. And by the material perspective, we think we are objects. And so we suffer, as I was explaining in the earlier question.
Yeah.
And we bring suffering to others because we see others as objects. And so when we see others as objects, there's only two types of objects. Either something I can use that's beneficial to me, or something that is a hurdle on my path, an obstacle, and I need to remove it. So या मैं उसको उपयोग करूं, या मैं उसको हटा दूं. That's what you do with objects. या मेरे कुछ काम है तो मैं उसको use करूं, या मेरा कोई काम नहीं है, मेरी obstacle है तो मैं उसको हटा दूं. And when we see people as objects, then we either use them or we try to remove them. That is not a healthy way of living. That is not a way of living that brings about peace and love and joy for yourself or in our relationships in our communities. Yeah. The spiritual way, spirituality says, I have this body, but I'm not the body. I am the spirit that flows through the body. You have that body, but you're not the body. You are the spirit that flows through it. And therefore, there's actually no place that I end and you begin. There is no empty space. In the material viewpoint, there's all this empty space between us. I have a boundary here. My body ends here. Empty space, you begin there. But spirituality says, there's no place I end and you begin. The spirit that flows through me is the same as the spirit that flows through you. And so when we look at ourselves and the world spiritually, it simply means I am shifting my focus from looking at the world and myself as an object, as matter, to looking at myself as spirit and looking at others as spirit. So spirituality is really simply a conscious decision that I am going to understand myself as spirit, as soul, as consciousness, as love. I'm going to try to see others as spirit, as soul, as consciousness, as love, not as separate from me, but as one with me.
Absolutely. So you have explained very well, and मैं हिंदी अपने व्यूअर्स के लिए थोड़ा सा इसको सिंप्लीफाई एक लाइन में इसको सिंप्लीफाई करता हूँ कि स्पिरिचुअलिटी इज अबाउट टू मेक द डिफरेंस. आप अपने आप जो आपका अंदर है और जो सामने वाला जो मेरा जिससे मैं इंटरेक्ट करता हूँ, दैट इज द वर्ल्ड और आइदर जो भी है वो भी एक स्पिरिट है, एक आत्मा है, एक सोल उसके अंदर है. इफ यू ट्रीट देम वेल तो ऑब्वियसली ये रिलेशनशिप बनेगा और वी कैन डू द बेटर. सो आई अंडरस्टैंड दैट.
ये दृष्टि की बात है कि मेरी दृष्टि क्या है. मैं दूसरों को, मैं स्वयं को और दूसरों को कैसे देखूं.
एब्सोल्युटली.
क्या हम ऑब्जेक्ट हैं या हम सोल है. हम शरीर है या सोल है. बैंक अकाउंट है या सोल है. तो जब तक मैं स्वयं को उसी ऑब्जेक्ट की दृष्टि से देखूं कि मैं अपनी शरीर हूं, मैं अपनी जॉब हूं, मैं अपनी बैंक अकाउंट हूं, और दूसरों को इसी दृष्टि से देखूं कि ये अमीर है, ये गरीब है, ये सुंदर है, वो
yeah,
सुंदर नहीं है, ये
yeah,
ऐसा है, वो वैसा है,
absolutely.
तो फिर we suffer. तो
Yeah,
इसलिए दृष्टि को बदलना पड़ेगा
correct.
कि मैं आत्मा हूँ, मैं कॉन्शियसनेस हूँ,
Conscious.
मैं स्पिरिट हूँ, और ये
Correct.
भी, और वो मेरे से अलग नहीं है,
Correct.
मेरे
Absolutely.
से अलग नहीं है, मेरे
Yeah.
में भगवान है,
Yes.
उसमें भी
उसमें
भगवान
भी
है,
भगवान है. Absolutely.
और भगवान तो एक ही है.
Yes, absolutely. That is the spiritual philosophy. Okay. So going to, I have to respect your time. You have very less time. So I will not take much time now. Only two questions I have. Before the last question, um, we have the lot of conflict in our life. Without conflict, life is not exist. आपका जो भी रिलेशन है, पति पत्नी में कॉन्फ्लिक्ट होता है, भाई बहन में कॉन्फ्लिक्ट होता है, पेरेंट्स और चिल्ड्रंस में होता है, दैट कुड बी द एनी रीजन, बट वी विल सी द कॉन्फ्लिक्ट. सो मेरा क्वेश्चन है साध्वी जी, हाउ डू वी डील विथ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट स्पिरिचुअली?
Conflict arises because of the ego.
Yes.
Conflict is there क्योंकि मैं ऐसे चाहती हूँ कि जो मैं चाहती हूँ, जब मैं चाहती हूँ, जिस तरह से मैं चाहती हूँ, जिससे मैं चाहती हूँ, जहां मैं चाहती हूँ, वो अगर हो जाए तो कोई कॉन्फ्लिक्ट नहीं है.
नहीं है. Absolutely.
There's only conflict when I am not getting what I want. So the core root of conflict is ego. The more stuck I am in my view, my right, because of course, when we say, I want it like this, we don't say, but your way is also very good, no problem. We say, I want it like this, क्योंकि ये सही है. This is right. I am right. And if you do it differently, you are wrong. So then there is conflict. If I am able to let go of my attachment to my ego, my attachment to how things are, then there's no conflict. There's a great story of a man who was married for 60 years. And on his 60th wedding anniversary, somebody asked him, Ki, Acha, what is the secret? Not only are you married, but you are happily married. 60 years ke baad, you are still so in love. What is your secret? And the man said, Ki, when we first got married, we made an agreement. The agreement was, Ki, in our marriage, I would make all of the big decisions. जो बड़ी decision हो, वो I will make them. I am in charge of the big decisions.
Okay.
And my wife, she will be in charge of the little decisions. वो सारी छोटी वाली चीज हो, वो decide कर लेंगे. बड़ी वाली चीज I will decide.
How?
And he said, I am very happy to inform you that in 60 years, we've never had to make a big decision. मतलब 60 years में जो वो चाहती है मैंने होने दिया. अभी तक मेरी big decision का मौका नहीं आए. No big decisions we've had to make. So now you think, okay, surely along the way, there were times when she wanted to eat one food, he wanted another. She wanted to see one movie, he wanted another. These things arise in life. But this man had that beautiful vision of realizing you've only got two choices in life. You can either be right, or you can be happy.
Absolutely.
And whether it's happy in a marriage, whether it's happy in a friendship, whether it's happy in any relationship, your only two choices are either you are attached to being right, or you are committed to being happy. And the more you are committed to being right, the less happy you're going to be. So the spiritual way says, no problem.
Yeah.
No problem.
No
You
problem.
know, Puja Swamiji's mantra in life
Hmm.
is no problem. And
Yeah.
I've seen him in so many situations where सामने वाले को लगेगा बहुत बड़ा problem है ये. But
Yeah.
to Maharaj ji, no problem.
No problem.
Chalo dekhte.
Hmm.
And in that no problem attitude, there
Yes.
isn't conflict.
Yeah.
There's only conflict when there's conflict in your mind because of your ego.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So key message for this question is ego, जो हमारा ego है, अगर वो मैं कंट्रोल करूं और एक्सपेक्टेशन अपनी करेक्ट रखूं अपने रिलेशनशिप में, अपने जहां भी हम हैं, पर्सनल लाइफ, प्रोफेशनल लाइफ, कहीं भी हैं, तो अगर वो हम करेक्ट रखते हैं तो वी विल नॉट हैव द कॉन्फ्लिक्ट, और अगर हैं भी कॉन्फ्लिक्ट तो होंगे, बट वी विल एबल टू मैनेज देम. सो परफेक्टली. सो मुझे लगता तो ऐसा है कि मैं आपके साथ बहुत देर तक बातें करता रहूं, बट टाइम विल नॉट परमिट, आई नो. एंड माय लास्ट क्वेश्चन टू यू, व्हाट मैसेज यू वुड लाइक टू गिव माय व्यूअर्स फॉर द बेटरमेंट ऑफ देयर लाइफ?
Number one, shift your focus from asking what for me to asking what through me. Most of our lives are ruined as we keep asking, "Mere liye kya?" What for me? What am I going to get out of this? What's in it for me? And then we're constantly judging and comparing and contrasting and finding ourselves miserable and suffering. And of course, selfish.
Absolutely.
The other way is to say, what through me? Meri through kya? Meri madhyam kya? How can I be a vehicle, an instrument, a tool in service of others? And when you ask yourself what through me rather than what for me, your whole focus shifts from being just on me to being on the world.
Yeah.
And when that focus shifts, it's ironic because people think that I will be happy if I focus on myself.
Absolutely.
I will be happy if I get more and more things from me.
Yeah.
Log aise sochte hain.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
The truth of the matter, the real truth is that happiness does not come from having more.
Yeah.
And the way that you know that is take a poll.
Yeah.
Take a poll of all of the richest people you know.
Yes.
Are they the happiest people you know? Are they the most peaceful people you know? Never.
Never. Absolutely.
So there's no correlation between what I have
Yeah.
and my peace or my joy. Yes, we all need food on the table.
Yeah.
We need a roof over our heads.
Yeah.
We need a sweater in the winter time.
Yes, yes,
But
yes, absolutely.
beyond your basic needs, there's no correlation between having more
Yeah.
and being happy or being peaceful. And so if you can shift your focus from what for me to what through me, then you will find that your life becomes not just a blessing to you, but a blessing to others. And that every day you wake up excited to start the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
How are you going to serve?
Yeah.
So that's one really important piece. And I think the other, I mean, there's so many, but I'll just give two for now.
Yeah.
The other is learn to let go.
Forgiveness.
Forgiveness. Learn to let go. Let go of whether it's anger, whether it's grudges, whether it's something from the past, whether it's an expectation, whether it's some story that you're telling yourself in your brain. That which we hold on to is that which makes us suffer. There's a great story, and I'll end with this, of a city in India that was overrun by monkeys. Now, sabko pata hai ki bandar to bahut hai. But we also know कि हम लोग अहिंसा वाले लोग हैं. We are not मारने वाले लोग. So the people of the city were trying to figure out कि what to do with all of these monkeys. ये बंदर को कैसे जंगल में वापस भेजें. And so they got this idea to take a coconut and they hollowed out the coconut. Sare malai nikal diya, pani nikal diya. And inside the coconut, they put something that monkeys love. A piece of fruit, a sweet, koi mithai, kela. They put it inside the hollowed out coconut. Now, the whole of the coconut was just big enough कि बंदर की हाथ आराम से अंदर जाए.
Okay.
The open hand could go in, no problem. But the hole was too small that once he closed his fist around the sweet, around the fruit, he couldn't get his hand out because the hole was too small. फंस गए. वो hole इतना छोटा था कि एक बार जब हाथ बंद कर दिया, मिठाई को पकड़ लिया, तो निकाल नहीं पाए अपने हाथ को. Now, if you have 4 legs and one of your legs is in a coconut, you can't run, you can't climb trees. And so you become very easy to be captured by the monkey capturers with their nets who would then take them back to the jungle. Lekin, this is a story and a message because evolutionarily, monkeys are our closest DNA relatives.
Absolutely.
The ape kingdom, DNA-wise, are the closest to us that they are almost indistinguishable by DNA.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we would think that this monkey is going to be smart enough. वो समझ लेगा कि अच्छा मैं उसकी वजह से फंसे हुआ हूँ और वो उसको छोड़ देगा और हाथ निकाल देगा. We would like to think that the monkey just would be smart enough. It'll let go of what's there and it will pull its hand out. But the monkeys never did. They never did. Pakka karke बैठ गए. They kept trying to get their hand out, and these monkeys then got captured and taken to the jungle. And I love this story because they are our closest DNA relative. And we are just as stupid.
Almost same thought process.
We make the exact same
mistakes.
We grab onto something. Some idea, some expectation, some story, some grudge, some pattern. और हम इसको पकड़ करके बैठ जाते हैं. And what we don't realize, we think this is what I need to be happy. Like the monkeys think, अच्छा ये केला मिलेगा, then I will be very happy. And we don't realize कि actually उसकी वजह से ही we are suffering.
Problem है.
उसकी वजह से ही हम फंसे हुए हैं.
Absolutely.
Because of that very thing we've grabbed onto, that we're not letting go of, we are suffering. So the last message is, let go. Whatever it is that's keeping you stuck. The anger, the pain, the grudges. If you don't know how to do it, get a copy of Hollywood to the Himalayas. I share how I let go.
Absolutely.
And if I can do it, you can do it.
Absolutely.
So let go and be free. Let go and be free.
Absolutely. So viewers, इसी के साथ मुझे ये शो एंड करना पड़ेगा. और साध्वी जी कितनों के लिए, मेरे लिए भी एस्पिरेशंस का काम करती हैं और मैंने भी आपके बहुत सारे देखता हूं. और जो लास्ट के जो मैसेज आपने दिए हैं, ये क्रैक है, हमारी प्रॉब्लम्स का जड़ है. अगर ये हम समझ लें, जो लास्ट के 2 मैसेज जो साध्वी जी ने दिए हैं, तो मैं समझता हूं कि हम अपनी लाइफ को काफी हद तक इंप्रूव कर सकते हैं. और बाकी व्यूअर्स, आप उनकी जो मेमियर है हॉलीवुड टू हिमालय, वो जरूर पढ़ें. उससे उनके लाइफ के एक्सपीरियंस से वो कैसे बाहर निकल करके उन्होंने ये जर्नी को अचीव करा, वो आपको उससे मिलेगा. तो साध्वी जी, थैंक यू सो मच गिविंग मी दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी टू इंटरेक्ट विथ यू, which was next to imagine for me, because I was approaching you for, and somehow I was trying even to. I am from Uttarakhand, so I visited that area. So I thought I will meet you in Rishikesh, but unfortunately that time you went to US. You was not there. So then I thought, okay, anyway, this is virtual, but next time 100% I will come there and see you in Parmarth Niketan. Thank you so much.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Whenever you come back to India, जब भी भारत में आओ, तो Rishikesh आ जाओ. It will be wonderful to meet you, and I'm so glad to have had this beautiful time together.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Namaskar.